In this video, we're going to be answering some more questions about the Karambit. So I wanted to make a quick video for you guys as a part 2 to my original video that's entitled "Do Not Buy a Karambit Until You Watch This." And if you guys have not seen that video, I'll make sure to place the link for that down in the description below. In that video, I gave some big picture concepts about why my preference is the straight blade versus the Karambit. And I made that video in specific for the people who are emailing me or calling me, asking me about, you know, I just purchased a Karambit, but I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do with this thing. It feels really awkward. Or the people who are emailing or calling saying, I want to pick up a new primary everyday carry edge weapon system. What do you recommend? So I made the video for them as beginners, as people who aren't trained martial artists, don't have the flight time, the mat time in understanding the straight blade versus the Karambit. My choice is always going to be in the straight blade. That doesn't mean that the Karambit is a bad tool. Let me say this again. I really appreciate the Karambit. It's a powerful tool, but the training that goes behind it is very specific to the Karambit, and that's why I prefer the straight blade. One of the most common comments on that first video was that I showed the Karambit in a reverse grip method and I showed the straight blade in a standard grip method, and I'm going to show you guys exactly why. Right now I have my standard straight blade in my pocket, okay? When I pull it out of my pocket and I deploy it, it comes out in the standard grip, pointy and forward, all right? But when you take a Karambit, a folding Karambit, and you place that in your pocket and you deploy that Karambit, it comes out in a reverse grip. The reverse grip is the primary grip for the Karambit. If you think that you're in a self-defense situation where you actually have to deploy your blade and you're going to have the time of being able to pull this thing out, get it in reverse grip, flip the thing around, put it in standard grip, and then be able to work the knife, you are confused. That's just not the way shit works, okay? So when I displayed the video, the first video, I put the Karambit in a reverse grip because that's the way it comes out of the pocket, and that's the way I have to use it right now. The second argument that people want to debate was that if you put the Karambit in a forward grip, then it will have the same distance, the same reach as a standard blade. And I want to show you guys that is nothing but untrue. So I have my bag over here. If I square myself up to the heavy bag and I reach out full extent, the tip of my straight blade is touching the bag right now, okay? If I hold the Karambit in a forward grip, it's 3 or 4 inches short of the bag. You guys can see that for yourself. Okay, this is basic science. If you have a curvature versus a straight line, the straight line is always going to reach out farther. Okay, so here's my straight blade. Here's my Karambit. They don't have the same reach. It's just not possible. Now that we have a basic understanding of the distancing and the reach difference between a straight blade versus a Karambit, the next argument that people were making was that you can do the same manipulations of the Karambit that you could with the straight blade if you're holding it in a forward grip, and that is also untrue. When I use my straight blade, we have the Ekis pattern, which looks like an X. We have the all the vase, which looks like the infinity sign upside down, right? We have thrusting forward. We have the off-angle thrusting, the off-angle thrusting. We have the cycling and circling type of motion. If I take the Karambit in the forward grip, I can still Ekis for sure. So you get the downward X pattern, no problems. You'd be really hard pressed to be able to get the all the vase pattern going the same way. You can do it, but as you can see, it requires much more body mechanic from me. Here's where it really loses out. Thrusting. If I thrust my blade forward towards the target, I hope that you guys can see this on video, the spine of the knife is what does the contact, okay? So you can't thrust the blade, the spine touches, and the spine touches, not the pointy end. Sure, we can rake the front of the blade forward, but now you're doing a different kind of a motion, okay? So you can't turn around and say something with a curvature operates the same way as a straight line. That's just stupid, okay? So These manipulations can be done with a karambit, just not as well. Here's where this is really important to understand. One of the basic tactics in edge weapons is the sewing machine method, meaning we're placing one arm up against somebody's collarbone and torso so that way they can't come closer to us, and we're running the knife from underneath, okay? This is where the thrusting really comes in handy. With a straight blade, that's no problem. It's very intuitive. When I use a karambit, what am I gonna do? Poke them with the spine of the blade? It becomes an impact weapon and not even a very good one, okay? So it doesn't work that way. In the reverse grip, I can cycle the knife. That's different because now I can pick, all right? That picking is something that the straight blade cannot do. So you have pros and cons on either side of the fence. I really don't care which blade system you guys carry, whether you want to have a karambit, whether you want to have a balasong, whether you want to have a straight blade, whether it's a fixed blade or a folder. Those are all decisions that you have to make for yourself, for your own lifestyle, obviously following the law where you guys are at as well. Those are all important things, okay? With these videos, all I want to do is give you guys some characteristics that you have to at least consider and think about, and hopefully at the end of it, you become a better practitioner, you become more prepared with the weapon choice that you made. My job as an instructor, my job as a teacher, my job as an educator is to help you guys identify problems so that way you could come up with solutions. It's only gonna improve you. That's what we call growth. For those of you guys who are hardcore emotional about the karambit, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you love your blade system, that's what you should carry, okay? But here's the way to test if that karambit's really gonna work for you or it's not. I want you to spend 1 hour of hard sparring. That means you're gonna take proper safety gear, a training blade, eye protection, throat protection, hand protection, face protection, groin protection. You're gonna find yourself a training partner or a friend who's willing to help you out with this thing, and you're gonna put them in all of the same safety gear. And you're gonna put this in 3 different platforms. First platform, have your friend rip punches straight down the pipeline, trying to knock your head off, and you try to utilize that karambit to see how well that works. Second platform, take a straight blade trainer versus you with the karambit and have them slash, thrust, cycle, thrust forward, thrust from underneath. Have them work that blade and you try to utilize your karambit against that. And in the third platform, I want you to take an impact weapon, something mid-length, like about the size of a baseball bat, but use a collie stick or a padded stick or something to that nature. Obviously, safety is first. And then I want you to spar with your karambit against that. So take those 3 platforms, karambit versus unarmed, karambit versus straight blade, karambit versus stick or impact weapon, and see how that works out for you. Try it out, place the videos down in the comments below.